Alright guys, this is Black Dragon, and here tonight we have a very nice matchup, a Terran versus Protoss. And over here in the bottom left, sporting the ruby red, we have Team Acers MMA. Not an amateur, not a newbie to the realm of competition. Code S as recently as 2012, just last year. Very high level competitor, able to compete with the best of them. One of the better Terran players in the world. His opponent will be MVP Super, a fairly solid Code A Protoss player. See how this plays out. Map will be Whirlwind, a very large map, tons of expansion opportunities as well. With just as many expansions, or for every expansion, there's an equal amount of choke points as well. So just favor a lot of late game battles. It definitely leads up to those very, very gas-heavy armies towards the end of the game, leading up to the later 30, 45-minute games. We'll see how this one plays out as well. Interesting note, we do not have the barracks yet out of MMA. Has to be going for that command center first, possibly. Going over to the top left as well, we do have Super starting the fairly normal gateway timing, dropping the normal simulator timing as well, looking for maybe a 1-2 gate expand, maybe starting off with some pressure. And this is absolutely the command center first coming out from MMA. Perfect map to do it on. There are total of 3 possible expansion or starting points that the Protoss is going to have to scout, and long rush distances as well. So, well, just favor the Protoss once those sentries get out in the very, very early game. It does allow a lot of flexibility in opening builds. Alright, do the 2 workers in each gas, but going for the double assimilator. This is going to line up for a very nice timing. More importantly, is going to allow an excess of minerals. Now the question will be, what is Super going to do with those minerals that he's pulling? This is almost very remnant of the Terran versus Terran style, where you'd see TSL Pult would do this a lot. You see some other players do it as well, where they would go 2 in gas on each gas just to bank the extra minerals. What does he use it on? This time it's going to be an expansion for Super, starting off fairly early, before even Wargate research, jumping right into the Mothership Core as well. So electing for the early defense, this will go ahead and be scouted by MMA. The question will be now is how does he react? So both players going for a very early expansion. MMA getting probably the better deal out of that, because he did just go ahead outright command center first, where we did have the gateway assimilator followed by the quickly, but as far as relativity, was still a little bit later than MMA. All right, the very deadly, very I want to say utilitarian, but I'm able to say just the unit full of utility. That Mothership Core is able to do so much for the players in all aspects of the game. Recall, huge ability, time warp, just as valuable as well, able to attack ground units. It just really is just a huge addition to the Protoss early game, or all phases of the game, really. We do see Super going for the earlier Forge as well, dropping robotics facility as well, so it'll be 1 gate, 1 robo, Forge. Gonna probably see some very early robotics production, whether this be Immortals or even the very, very, very quick Colossus as well. If we can get some sentries out in the very beginning to kind of hold some type of defense. Now, the problem with this is, even though it's an expansion, there will be a timing at about 10:30 where MMA can hit a wicked timing with Stim, Combat Shield, +1, Medivacs, Marines, Marauders. There's so many combinations, so many windows of opportunity for the Terran player, especially at the very beginning of the mid-game. And with the command center first out of MMA, even you see here, Stim starting as well, slowly working the gas into the upgrades, so just doing a very good job at spending all those resources that he's pulling early. And the question is going to be, he's going to hit an even earlier timing, because he went for the very greedy economy in the beginning, and as a result, we'll have a very early mid-game as well. How is Super going to respond to this? Is electing to spend gas on sentries, I think, is a very, very good choice. It's still very vulnerable to drops, but it's going to be able to at least force field off any type of brute force push up the ramp or anything like that. Oh, you have the early observer coming out as well. very instrumental to a Protoss army, able to get good positioning, check upgrades, really good overall. And seeing the bunker, he knows it's not going to be any oddly early aggression. We have missile turrets coming out as well, and I'll be interesting to see if he actually halts production right before this is done. No, just go ahead and keep it. Sometimes you can halt production about 90%, leave it there, and once you hit that 8-minute kind of Dark Templar timing and you don't see one, just go ahead and cancel the missile turret and then jump right into an additional barracks. Something like that, just another allocation of those minerals. But, instead, not a bad choice. Just so I can go ahead and finish that missile turret, jumping into Armory Engineering Base, so you can jump to those earlier upgrades as well. Combat Shield, we do have a Tech Lab up, but Combat Shield not started yet, is floating quite a bit of gas as well. Have to think he's saving that for the medevac production, so we can go ahead and just get that really, really early push with the stim and medevacs as well, possibly going for the job, or can outright just maybe push up the ramp, doing some type of damage. Alright, dude, essentially moving out across the map, doing some nice third cancellation here. And this is really actually very impressive from Super. Because of this, he knows there's not going to be additional barracks. He elected to spend the money on an early expansion, so he knows that this push can't be as strong as it could be. So he can go ahead and just actually send a nice warp and go ahead and push in, doing lots of damage to the supply depot as well. Just take that out. Going to limit the macro capabilities of MMA. Repair going out, but force fields making that repair very inefficient as well, having to pull several workers off the line to make sure this bunker stands. Not an extremely aggressive play, but enough to warrant attention from MMA. Upgrades being continued as well. Robotics facility going down for Super. So he's going to have that early Colossus to try to go through it. Here goes the force fields, time warp, tons of unit distorting fields going out as well. More force fields limiting the repairing capabilities. Bunker already going down, has to lift off, pick up to pull back. Dropping down again, but too many Immortals. 3 now in the mix. Stalker's doing lots of damage as well. Is he going to lose the engineering bay? That'd be really huge right now. Tons of workers going down, going to income tab. We do have tons, almost 20 workers lost for MMA. Not looking too good. And there's a good game. Huge wicked timing out of here from Super. Able to just push right before that critical mass, before the infrastructure could really kick in. You saw him drop the double tech lab. Had the reactor over here, reactor on the factory, reactor on the barracks. And just before that production could really kick in, just pushed outright, killed MMA. He had nothing. Caught him completely off guard. There is a rematch coming up.